CTI stands for the Critical Time Intervention. It's used to strengthen the individual's long-term ties to services, family, and friends, and also provide emotional and practical support during the critical time of transition back to the community. Phase 1 is known as a transition to community. During this time, the caseworker is getting to know the client. They're implementing a transition plan intended to link the client to services and supports within the community. This is a 3-month interval, which allows the caseworker and the client to build rapport. Phase 2 is known as the tryout. The caseworker monitors and adjusts the system of the support that were developed during Phase 1. This phase involves fewer meetings with the client, and the caseworker encourages the client to problem solve with the help of the community resources, family members, and it intervenes only if the client is receiving inadequate support or if a crisis occurs. Phase 3 is known as transfer of care. The caseworker helps the client develop and implement a plan to achieve long-term goals, whether that be employment or family reunification, and it also finalizes the transfer of responsibilities to the caregivers and community providers.
So for the description, the intervention was conducted in an 18-month interval. It was conducted on homeless people with severe mental illness, individuals living in shelters, hospitals, or other institutions. The study was conducted twice, both times in New York City, the first one in the 1990s and the second one in the 2000s. So for the first study, it was all males. It was a total of 96 individuals, and the group was assigned into 2 different categories. The first one was the CTI, which is the Critical Time Intervention Plus, and the usual services, which they referred to it as a control group. This one was only help offered if the individual would go ahead and ask. They wouldn't even have interviews or follow-ups. Again, it was only if the individual asked for help. So the results for the first test, we can see that there was a 67% reduction of homeless nights during the 18 months. This means that it only took an average of 30 nights for the CTI group to leave shelters, leave the streets, leave any mental hospitals or institutions. There was also a 64% reduction of being homeless during the final month. This is more like an estimate after the trial. It's saying that around only 8.3% of CTI members went homeless, and then for the control group, we can see there's a For study number 2, there was more people this time. There was actually 182 individuals. Now we can see that there's actually females in the study as well. This is the same thing as the first one. There was 2 different groups. The same thing as well, randomly assigned. The first one was a CTI and the usual services, which is a control group. Results in this one is 24% reduction of homeless nights during 18 months. It was only 30 nights for the CTI group again, and 41 for the control group. It took more with the control group. There was a 72% reduction in the likelihood of becoming homeless in the following up period. For the CTI group, it was only at 5.2%, and for the control group was an 18.6. Right here we can see that having more attention, the social worker paying more attention to the individual, we can see that it's more efficient. The CTI, we can see how much more efficient it is. Having meetings with them and trying to reintegrate them into society by helping them to find jobs, to go back to their family, and different examples like that. So not only did this test benefited homeless people, but actually the entire society. There was a reduction of 24 to 67% in average of nights spent homeless over the 18-month follow-up period, and then more than 60% reduction in likelihood of being homeless in the final week of the 18-month follow-up. Again, that's more like an estimate, just letting us know that if they're holding that long, they can probably just keep going that way and make it more like a routine and not go back to being homeless once you're settled with, I guess, a new life and being reintegrated to the society. So for every individual, there was a total of $6,290 spent. On the first study, we really didn't see any difference in money being saved by helping out the homeless. But once again, when they did the second study, there was a total saving of $24,000 per person. It is a significant amount. How do they come up with this money? It's because since there was less homeless, there was less medical costs for the Medicaid, and there was also less money going towards charity-run shelters, which is the places where these homeless reside. At the end, we can pretty much see that it did benefit the society.